What is happening, everybody? Hope you're all doing well this evening, and welcome to the Parental Guidance Podcast. Tonight we're going to be delving into predator symbols and looking at the facts. That's what we tend to focus on, so that's what we're going to do. The FBI released symbols and terminology that are used by paedophile and predator groups that we've spoken about many times, and sadly we're in a situation where we need to put this content back out after it was hastily removed by another platform. And I know some of you have probably already heard about this, and I've tried to sort of expand on what we previously spoke about, and everything you need for tonight's stream can be found in the Project Rook website. Now, if you're listening back on Spotify or you're listening back on other platforms, each week we will have a page that has all the resources, all the links to everything we're going to be looking through. If you want to go back and peruse it at your own leisure, feel free to do so. There's also going to be an after chat on Telegram where we'll be able to sort of speak a little bit more openly about some topics. But let's get diving straight into this, because I think a lot of the time when people haven't necessarily heard about predator symbols, it can be quite surprising. Give me 1 second. Okay, try this. Okay, that should be a little bit better now. All right, so predator symbology and what the meaning of a symbol is where we're really going to start. And we're surrounded by symbols. You're surrounded by symbols that shape every part of our life. We have symbols that tell us when to cross a road. We have symbols to tell us if something is or isn't safe for us to consume. And logos, symbols give meaning and purpose to something. And when you have a group or I'm just watching the chats here. What's happening to Dale? What's happening to Alyssa? What's happening to Andy? What's happening to everybody? When you have a group of people that are unified around a symbol, it gives meaning, it gives credibility, it gives sustenance to what they're trying to represent. And obviously, some groups like child predators tend to fly under the radar and aren't particularly open in most cases. And these are certainly ways for one like-minded predator to identify another like-minded predator. And I think it's really important that parents especially are aware of what these symbols are. So that's what we're going to... Whoa. So I posted some resources, and I think it's interesting when we look at symbology. And there was a book called The Role of Symbols in Human Behavior from, I believe, 1955. It's right here, and it goes into just how shaped we are by the symbology around us, and just how prevalent it can be if you don't know necessarily the meanings of symbols, and also just how powerful symbols are on everyday life. I mean, you could imagine the utter chaos that would ensue if something as simple as all the traffic lights were taken away and there was no signal or symbol, red, green, amber, to control traffic. Happy Thanksgiving, of course. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all you lovely Americans. So, symbols in culture is another thing, because obviously societies and different groups of people are represented by different forms of symbols, whether it's text-based or graphic-based, whether it's something to do with religion or culture. They're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. And, you know, it goes on to say, for example, letters of the alphabet symbolize the sounds of a specific spoken language. Just to batter home once again, symbols are everywhere. They shape our world, they shape our society, they shape the sounds that come out of our mouths. And I think it's important that we give the heavyweight status to symbols that they deserve, especially when they have such an impact on our everyday life and culture, societies, and groups. This is where we're getting to the point of this. Okay, so Wikipedia says a symbol is a mark or sign or word that indicates, signifies, or is understood as representing an idea, object, or a relationship. Symbols allow people to go beyond what is known or see by creating linkages between otherwise very different concepts and experiences. All communication is achieved through the use of symbols. Symbols take the form of words, sounds, gestures, ideas, or visual images, and are used to convey other ideas or beliefs. For example, a red octagon is a common symbol for stop. On maps, blue lines often represent rivers, and red rose often symbolizes love and compassion. Numerals and symbols for letters of the alphabet may be symbols for certain phenomenon. I don't know what that word is. Phonemes. And personal names and symbols representing individuals. The variable x in the mathematical equation that may symbolize the position or particle in space. So again, symbols all around us, completely woven into the fabrics of what make up our very existence. Okay, last point on symbols. So symbols throughout history have been hijacked by groups, and you know what used to be one meaning for something is now very different. And I don't think anyone wins any prizes. I think there's one particular symbol that was hijacked and changed its meaning forever. And that's the swastika. And before the Nazis got their hands on the swastika was a symbol of peace. It was used in many cultures around the world. It's built into various bits of architecture, as you can see, and decoration. And obviously, that all stopped. You know, World War II kind of stopped dead the use of the swastika for anything other than serious race hate. But it's the best example on the internet, if not the world, of a hijack symbol, taking it from one extreme to another, and how culture and society reshaped that meaning. And because of the devastation that was caused by those lovely chaps in World War II, the swastika will forever be a symbol of those atrocities, and rightfully so. You know, I think we can push the boat out on anyone ever proactively using the swastika for anything good ever again. Okay, so I hope that kind of batters home how symbols and our culture and everything about us is shaped by those funny little squiggles or those weird little images. All right, so let's move forward. That is a lot of light. All right, so I do believe, here we go, 31st of January 2007. All right, we now know the importance of symbols, what they can mean, the power they can have, and what they can represent. Before we go any further as well, make sure you slap a like on this page, make sure you share it, and there should be, if you go to projectrook.com and then follow the podcasts to, you know, episode 1, you will get all the links that you need for pages and the after chats and all that stuff. All the resources we just used are here. We're now moving on. And like I say, 2007, the FBI dropped a bomb. Okay. Symbols and logos used by pedophiles to identify sexual preference. Okay, so this is where things are going to get your notepads out. There may be questions after. So we have some very specific symbols here. All right. The first one we're going to be looking at is this triangle, triangle that kind of spirals off into itself, and then a sort of broken circled version, if you will. This FBI PDF, which is linked below as well, you should really go and just take in as much of this as you can. So here we go. The B logo, aka boy lover. Okay. The LB logo, aka little boy lover. All right. There's been cases of these logos that have been minted onto coins after they've been minted officially and then redistributed into circulation, and we'll look at that in just a moment. Now, this is where it gets a bit nuts. This is one of the most familiar logos in the world. If you've ever reached for a delicious frozen treat on a hot day, you may recognize this logo. And we're going to delve into that too. So this one here is the girl lover, child lover. Here's one on a pendant. And again, it just keeps going and going. I strongly suggest you guys go and familiarize yourself with these. And we're going to delve into this in a lot more detail right now. WikiLeaks obviously published this as well. So if you want to go via WikiLinks to get all this information, you can do as well. The links are on the podcast page. And mainstream news, all right? Just so that everyone understands, this isn't conspiracy theory, okay? We're not talking about conspiracy theories, algorithm, okay? This is documented fact, all right? Just so that we're all, just in case you think this is a conspiracy stream or this is like a tinfoil hat stream, is not. This is 100% fact. Daily Record, why are we getting this? Away with you. Go on about the terminology, they go into the symbols, and again, just reaffirm the fact that this is reality and isn't, tinfoil hat scenario. So these are the symbols that you need to have burnt into your head for this evening, for tonight's lecture, shall we say. So before we move on, I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming and spending some time this evening with me, and it means a lot. This entire operation is funded by you guys. There's a link tree at the bottom of the page on the Project Rook. If you want to sign up for my Patreon, there is going to be extended content from these podcasts going on there, and we have our next podcast launching very, very soon, Internet Horrors. If you go to the projectrook.com website, you will go and you will be able to get all of the Phil Chalmers Serial Sunday stuff compiled into a nice little box set for you. And tomorrow, episode 1 of The Darkest Net will be back as well. So please do check that out. All right. The hair. All right. Okay. So, public reaction to this. And obviously, as information as horrific as hidden pedophile symbology has become more public, and just how prevalent people going and making sure they do their part to keep kids safe has kind of exploded across Facebook and other social medias. There has been endless reporting and public outcry when these symbols seem to appear in places that they really, really shouldn't. And I think a few of you will have seen a lot of these pictures that I'm going to show you in just a second. But this one blew my mind. So I believe one second. All right, yeah, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so this was in August 2019, and this is outrageous, okay? And it's just outrageous. So when we think of these symbols being bad enough, we know the FBI have made these symbols public and what they mean. So you would think, right? If let's say you worked for a company, right? Let's say you worked for the Big Red Box Company, right? And the Big Red Box Company had a really bad reputation for some of the higher up Red Box people getting a bit handsy with some children, right? And then they brought out a new uniform for the Big Red Box Company. Do you not think you should steer away from anything that could further exacerbate the rumors of said Big Red Box Company? I'm just being honest with you. Okay. So I think we can all agree on that. So the big question is, why on National Youth Day, right, did Pope Francis, okay, have every single member of the clergy wearing uniforms with the exact logo? Not a little bit. It's literally as if they've downloaded this as a JPEG, okay, stripped the white out, and then just slapped that on the sewing machine. Okay? You want it in a hat? They got all your crazy child abuse merch going on down at the Vatican this week, okay? Use code DIDDLES for 20% off. Fucking unreal. So here is a whole group of them. Here's a field of them. With their it's mad. It's mad. So there's a few people calling this out on online that maybe it was all photoshopped. Nah, apparently not so much. So Catholic Church, I also want to point out as well, right, that there was a 2019 report which was just after this, where the same Pope goes on to say, oh, it was before this was like in February, where basically he goes on to say that, you know, maybe not all cases of child abuse should be reported. You know, like if a really high up clergyman was to get a bit handsy, do we really need to report that? That was his attitude, triggering every survivor of religious and just, you know, your box standard heinous abuse. Unreal. It's unreal. Like I say, these resources are on there. You can go and read through all of this. You can go and see it for yourself. You can go and see news reports and all the rest of it. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. So when we start thinking to ourselves, biggest religious organization in the world, what are they doing with that? What does that say to us? Let's just say for a minute, right, that there's a secret world group, okay? Hypothetically, let's say that all the rich people, let's call them the 1%. Let's just think for a second that there's always been these rumors that these hidden groups like to mock us slavery individuals by putting their existence out in front of us. Whether it's, you know, Disney cartoons from the 1970s, where behind Donald Duck in a doctor's office is an eye test board that reads, "Ask about the Illuminati." What does that mean? I don't know. I'm not going to talk about anything like that on Facebook. But if you believe in that sort of thing, and you believe that these sort of individuals like to rub our faces in their existence, do you not think things like this should start swaying the minds of some people who like to bury their heads in the sand? And listen, I get it. I totally get it. Like, I wish that I was born with an ignorance is bliss mindset, and it was possible for me to just be like, none of this matters. Let's just move on from it. But it's not the case. And making sure as many people know is what we're here to do. Okay, so moving on and looking again at how we've looked at how important symbols are, what they mean and what they do for our culture. We have looked at how the public have reacted to official government documents by the FBI. We've looked at news reports. We've looked at these symbols. We've looked at how the public have started spotting and calling out these symbols. And the first thing we looked at was Pope Francis. Now, another thing that is absolutely horrific is the pride side of this. The pedophile groups, pedophile communities, when they're talking amongst themselves, are incredibly proud of who they are. With my experience on the dark web and infiltrating and researching these groups, there's nothing that they like more than finding a new, pedophile, right, that they can take under their wing and sort of show them the way. If your hobby is repairing old cars and you're on Facebook pages or Discord groups where you can kind of openly discuss that, how much passion you put into your hobby and things like this, that's how these individuals talk. And it's horrific. So there is this pride factor. Now, we're going to have a look at one individual, which was... He was part of a group called the Evil Eight, okay? And this guy... Hang on a second. I'm just double checking what this guy did. All right, so I'm pretty sure, right, that this guy took his own daughter and allowed 8 men to abuse her. Yeah, here we go. All right, so there you go. Offered the girl to others but cannot be named to protect her identity. He was sentenced in June. Former pastor, also part of it all. That was Dawid Vollmer. Ryan Trevor Clegg, 15 charges. Nicholas Adam Beer admitted sexually abusing the girl. Troy, I mean, it just goes on. So there was 8 of them, and this was the Evil 8, and this was a case. When was this? 2017. So the reason that I bring this one up, this was a horrific case, okay? Australia's most grotesque case, girl pimped out by her own father. Horrendous. I was watching the report on those 2 girls, Jared, what was her name? I can't remember. It was the 2 girls that were part of that family of like 13 that were abused by their parents. Like, that really got me thinking about kids who are so disconnected from reality because of the abuse that they go through, and they spend years wondering whether or not that's normal. You know? I think it was Jordan. I think that's what her name was. She was talking about how she'd managed to get a phone and she was talking to someone, or somebody on her social media was posting comments. And it was then she realized that this wasn't normal and it wasn't a normal life. It's so scary to think how many kids could be living that life. At the end of it, there was a doctor who remembered going to school with one of the girls, and he said, you know, she was the girl that nobody wanted to talk to. She was the girl that everybody stayed away from. She was the weird one. And he expressed just this overwhelming guilt that he felt, and expressed that we should be raising our kids to reach out to those girls, those kids, because of the unknowns. And I think that was quite a prolific moment in that for me, if I'm being honest. Okay. So, pride. This is the guy who pimped out his own daughter, and here is his tattoo. Learn to love your inner monster. And I do believe that is the where the wild things are, little gadget. Okay, so although it's not one of the symbols we looked at, by its very existence, it is a symbol that represents a horrible thing. Learn to love your inner monster. This is the man who pimped and sold his daughter. I think we can do without loving that all day. Okay, so, no. Sticking with the pride, you'll often see idiots who think that their attraction to children should be something we should all respect. Whether or not they've crossed the line and actually put their hands on a child or not, or whether or not they are virtuous pedophiles, as they call themselves, who are non-contact pedophiles. You'll see these morons displaying their... I'm really trying to be professional on this podcast. These individuals displaying their choices upon themselves. I wonder if this tattooist knew what was going on. Now, if you look down here at the hashtags, gay nudist, gay pedophile, boy love, young boy lover. Now, young boy lover, where did we hear that? Because I'm pretty sure we've already covered that. Oh, boy lover. So the direct words from underneath the symbol on a government document, okay? I really wish I could have just cut back to that. That would have been way smoother. Are literally the exact words that he is using as hashtags. It's been going for 100 years. Absolutely it has. It's been going on way too long. So you have other individuals. Marilyn Manson, he has a very suspicious tattoo right here. A lot of people think that it looks a lot like this image here. I'm not saying either way. Now, there's two more things we're going to look at with regards to pride, the pride factor. One, parents should really be aware of the pedophile flag, okay, which is this one right here. Okay, it's so important that you understand that these colors subtly represented, okay, subtly represented are another form of conditioning, okay, where if you can have a symbol around someone, a child, for prolonged periods of time, they have an association with that. And if you can incorporate those symbols into moments where they're enjoying themselves or they're watching television, it's such a powerful hypnotic tool, especially when we're dealing with child abuse, trafficking, and those individuals in the pedophile world who are classed as the child lover pedophile, who believe that children can consent, enjoy this, and should be allowed to make their own choices. PI, which was an organization, the Pedophile Information Exchange, which started in the UK back in the 60s or 70s, literally brought this to the table, okay? We're on national television talking about why they should lower the age of consent to 6. It was a very close call, okay? Very close call in this country. Now, what's very interesting, and we're going to ignore the proper, like, religious side of this, right? And we're just going to have a look at this image, right? This is Blue's Clues, okay? What's happened here? All right. Okay, so this is Blue's Clues kids gay pride episode, all right? Now, just look at this image, all right? Just look at it for a minute, okay? And I understand that... What the fuck is going on with this? Excuse my language. Sorry. If you're listening back to this, you'll hear a bleep there because we're trying to be professional. Oh, I'm trying to click on his thing. I'm trying to click on... okay, nice one. Blooper reel. Just look at this image. Okay, and now listen, I'm pretty... I mean, I can pan some stuff off. Do you know what I mean? But see, when you see a bunch of it all grouped together, it's a bit mad. So do you guys spot anything going on in this image that we could line up with what we've been talking about? I'll just give you a minute. All right, so some might say that you have one symbol right here, another symbol right here, but the maddest thing, right, is this cake, right? The maddest thing is this cake. So he isolates the cake, right? He turns it upside down. And when we talk about subtle conditioning, when we talk about these hidden in plain sight, you know, narratives, this does not help those that say it's conspiracy. Because this is an incredibly coincidental mishap, if that's what they want to sell it as. Come on, dude. Okay, so here is the flag that I just showed you and this cake next to each other. Like, what? What? That is mad, okay? Could just be totally coincidental, all right? I'm just saying, it could be coincidental. It literally looks like they've taken the flag and then blurred it and put some, you know, speckled destruction across it, and that's it. Very suspicious. So, Blue's Clues, you might be getting cancelled. Now, keeping with the pride factor, there on the internet is a thing called the Pedo Bear. It started on 4chan for identifying paedophile content, became a huge meme. I believe it was a proper character in Japan for a while. In fact, did it not start in Japan, on Japan's 4chan, and in the English version, I can't remember. But luckily, I have a tiny documentary down here for you guys called Know Your Meme, which is all about the Pedo Bear. And the reason for that is it has been adopted. I mean, I would just say watch the documentary, make up your own mind about the Pedo Bear. You can see how it was used to mark content. So you must be this tall, you know, to ride. Obviously, that's about the size of a child. There's the Pedo Bear showing up right on time, marking the content. And again, like I say, if you're watching this back, go to projectrook.com, go to the podcast section, and you'll get all these resources. And I've not fully checked what the copyright system is on Facebook yet, so I don't want to play this, but you can we'll definitely play it on the after chat. If you come to Telegram after chat, which you will get a link for all over this page, in the events page here as well. And yeah, please do come and have a chat with us. Now, we've looked at the pride factor. Now let's look at where things get a little bit scary. We've talked a little bit about the passive conditioning. We've seen a little issue that came up in a Blue's Clues episode. There has been countless issues with toy manufacturers all around the world distributing some absolutely unacceptable toys to very young children. The first one second. Right, here we are. All right, so this one's from, come on. Here we go. So this one is from 2016, and that was kind of when everything resurfaced for, definitely had nothing to do with anything to do with emails, to do with any government officials. We'll get to that. So we have this truck, all right? And this mother who had bought it for her child and then was obviously horrified to see that on the top of this truck was a very familiar symbol. And it's interesting that that symbol that we're about to see here is the symbol that is on an official government document. It also happens to be like the Walls ice cream logo, which happens to be a company that directly markets to children. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, ice cream companies or people that drive around in ice cream trucks have any sort of reputation or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that is the Walls ice cream logo. Also happens to be an official government backed symbol for pedophiles. Why is that on there? Why is that on there, mate? Like, what's going on there? It just gets worse. So troll dolls, from the movie Troll, the Troll movie, there was absolute outrage when a mother had purchased a doll for her child and discovered this.
To be shared. As you all know, stuff that's been going on in the world about the sex trafficking in kids and things that are thrown in our kids' faces to kind of groom them and make them kind of a little bit more oblivious to things that are really happening. So it was my daughter's birthday a couple days ago, and she turned 2, and she was given this gift. It's like a little poppy doll. It's adorable. And here's the box. So she had a poppy birthday, and so they gave her this. It's just from the new movie, The Trolls World Tour. On the box, it says "Giggle and Sing Poppy." On the back, it says that if you push her tummy right here, sorry, it's glaring. If you push her tummy right here, she makes 10 phrases and sounds. And that's all it talks about. And it comes with a little comb. So, I mean, she does all that. You touch her tummy and she makes little singing sounds and she's super cute. Well, I was showing her to my husband and I heard some other sounds that I had never heard before. And if you look down here, I figured a video was the best way. So I just touched her tummy and she's gonna sing for a minute. But down here is a button right here on her privates. And if you push those, she makes these sounds. Like a gasping sound. And I know some of you may not think this is a big deal, but especially since I've had kids, this is wrong. For one, this button, it says nothing about.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you guys have heard enough of that. It goes without saying that those noises are not something that you would particularly assume to go with a kid's toy, especially when the button is placed on this little troll's privates. Now, this is a mold injected piece of plastic, okay? I just want to make sure people fully understand how the processing, how the process for this toy is getting made works, all right? This is mold injected. Someone had to make and design the mold for this. It had to be approved. That button had to be, in the design process, explained to why it is there, right? Do you know what I'm saying? A lot of it's not like me spelling something wrong and then getting 40,000 flyers printed. Do you know what I'm saying? Which might have happened more than once. Hang on a second. All right. So, okay, we're good. So it's pretty shocking, especially when we're dealing with big companies here. And who was it that did this? Hang on a second. That was, what company was it? Was it Mattel? I can't see who made it, but mad, absolutely mad. And it doesn't get any better. So lol dolls, they were the next big issue, and they took it to the next stage. Not just hiding a button, not just slipping something in through a development stage of a product development. We have heat or cold water activated toys, where you put the toy into cold water and the pattern on the toy will change. We've all seen this, and they're fun. Kids love that. Kids love it when things are interactive and have that little extra twist. And this is really messed up. Have a look.
Okay, I think we're live. Okay, listen. So we all have seen little conspiracy theory things and videos that people post that maybe a lot of people don't believe because we don't know the people. I just seen a video on LOL dolls, and when you soak them in ice cold water, and the lingerie outfit that this little girl came out in. I'm gonna do it myself since my daughter has a ton of them, and we're gonna find out.
Right away, lingerie outfits should not be associated with kids' toys. All right, just in case anyone's super desensitized out there, like, this is an issue.
If it's really real. Okay, here we go. Okay. Little girl. Nothing on her. Okay. Here we go. You guys. Oh my God.
Okay, so ask yourself, if that was the original design of this toy, if that's what it looked like in a packet, do you think this mother would have made the decision to purchase it for her child? Would any of you make the decision to purchase this for your child if this was how it was packaged? Let me know.
Are you serious? Like you guys see this, right? This is not fake. Okay? Oh my God. Let's do another one. Okay, another little one. Okay, nothing on her. You can see she's kind of got little white fishnet, which is kind of weird. Here we go. Look at this. Can you see that? It's a little devil tail. Hold on, let's see. Do you see that? Devil tail and wings. Nothing really else. But that. Like, that's enough for me. Okay, here we go, third one. Just a little black girl. Nothing really on her. Okay. This is crazy, you guys. Like, this is not okay. This is not okay. Look at this now. Do you see this? Like, right? Nothing. Like, she had nothing on her before. Okay, we're gonna let her dry off.
All right, what I find really interesting is, if we wanted to get really deep into the psychology, right, of hot water and cold water playtime for children, bath time, okay, is warm. It's warm water, okay, and arguably has a lot more parental interaction than, saying, say your kid's sitting outside with, you know, the kitchen basin thing outside with them water playing in the garden or whatever, and it tends to be cold water, which to me would sort of push more towards a safe, you know, they're not going to drown in a basin. Do you know what I'm saying? So less supervision with a cooler temperature of water. I mean, does that sound crazy? Does it sound crazy to suggest that they put thought into not making it hot water that it reacts to? Because arguably, kids are going to be having more baths than they are playing with ice cold water, right? Or are they just having more adult supervised hot water time? Does that sound crazy? I don't know if it does. Let me know what you think. All right. Again, if you're watching this back and want to see all this for yourself, head over to projectroot.com and you'll get all the resources. All right. So let's just go through these images, just so that everything's drilled into everybody. We had this woman with the rather interesting stack of pots behind her, and her girl lover printed truck that she purchased. Then we have the troll dolls. I mean, look at where that button is. That is approved in a design stage. Mold injected. The lol dolls. It's really messed up. I mean, you can see there. What? 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 This is not okay. Oh. Oh, is that a piece of pizza? Interesting. Is that the Squid Game freaking symbols? What's going on here? This slice of pizza, okay. Let's talk about things that appear on kids' toys. You know, flowers, you might have a lizard that changes to a different color, heat reactive, all that kind of stuff. Can anyone just throw out there any single time, right, that yeah, I need to remove that one, Leanne, I'm afraid. A slice of pizza, right, is very prevalent. Sadly, we can't talk about why that's prevalent on Facebook. But join us on Telegram after this stream, where we're going to be delving into the pizza conspiracies. I said conspiracies, algorithm. All right? Just to be clear. We call it past offense around here, okay? Just to clarify. Oh, and that is so appropriate for children's toys. Why does that one look like it has nipples? Like, it does get worse though. Lols then brought out this lovely little number. Yeah. If you're listening back without visuals, please do head to the website and take in this wonderful, wonderful thing. The Telegram group, there'll be a link somewhere for it. It's all over the website. That is where you have our little open discussion. You guys can come and join us. We have little chit chats. We kind of report on things that are going on in the keeping kids safe world. It's a nice little group, I have to say. It's been nothing but good times and positivity in there. Okay, now for the next sarcastic face segue build-up. So, toys. Let's just say there's some rogue developers out there, okay? Let's just say it must have just been a mistake. Surely, it must just be like a small company thing. You know, it couldn't get any bigger than that, right? All right. So literally the entire image for this stream is this guy. I still can't believe this is a thing. This is Chief Zenfear. Yeah. Okay, so this is Chief Zenfear. This is part of a brand new Disney Plus series. Brand new Disney Plus series. Also, Leanne, can you post another comment to make sure that I've not done anything silly? Just post, just like just spam something out there. Okay, so can anybody see a problem here? I just want to refer you back to about 12 minutes ago in this lecture when we were talking about if we can get symbols into kids' lives, it creates comfort and normalization. It creates familial. It makes things feel familiar. Kids respond really well to that, almost in a sense of breaking down the barriers of what a stranger is to a child when they have a connection over something that is familiar to them. How messed up is this sounding now? Leanne, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you, Leanne. So, okay. Let's keep going. This symbol is all over this particular individual. And you know what? I bet this is something that's been faked on the internet. Do you know what? Do you know why we know it's not faked on the internet? Here's the Disney wiki page with Prince Zephyr. Boom! This is Disney's website, okay? Just to be clear, this is their. Disney put this on the internet. The FBI put the symbols on the internet. Everything we've been talking about is reported fact in national news coverage. Okay, just to re-clarify that we're not talking about tinfoil hats. And if you're watching back on a platform where you don't have visuals, we have a griffin. We have a, well, not necessarily a griffin. He's got the wings of an eagle, the body and face of a rather majestic-looking beast, proudly standing there. A beast is actually pretty good fucking. Excuse me. It's actually a very good way of describing him. So all over this lion's body, we have the boy lover symbol. But we wouldn't want the girls being left out, would we? Now, I'm sorry, right? But what where are we? Where are we in this world? That this is just slamming in front of our kids' faces to the point now where on Disney Plus, they're literally covering their characters in symbols that look like they were just lifted out of an FBI PDF document, okay, and then slapped on a character. I'm really sorry. This is not something you can argue away. All right. And I'll tell you something else. You could argue this a lot. You could argue this away, Disney, if when you realized the absolute disgusting thing that you have done here, if you just re-render the whole character, just take away those symbols, just take them away. You know? Take them away. But Disney wouldn't have a history of this, right? Oh, hang on a second. I forgot to just... Also, I got that image off of the Disney Wikipedia page as well. Just so we're all clear on where this information comes from and how we present things on this podcast. None of this is speculation. None of this is pulled off of Google from a random site. This is from Disney. Okay? This is Disney. See? Brilliant. Brilliant. The power of flight and grooming, I imagine. She's an animal, she will need groomed. Algorithm. Okay, so let's just say to ourselves, it's a one-off. Yeah, I will do, Beasley. It's a one-off. Okay. Okay, so this is in one of the Disney's live-action theme park, you know, the theme parks that have, the frick are they called? Just the rides. Just the rides that you sit in and they go around. It's a Wonderful World or something like that. Has this. Now, yes, it's very similar. Okay, it's very similar to this. All right, but there's a lot more triangles there. Arguably, it is that symbol. Arguably, it is. Personally, I think it's very easy to see these symbols in places where people are guilty of displaying them. We were talking about Disney. But I put this one in here as a make your own mind up on this one. All right? Because for me, if for example, that was a symbol for, say, I don't know, something that isn't horrific, okay? Something that isn't horrible. If that was the symbol for it, and that was what people within that group used for me to identify with, I think I'd miss that. I think I'd miss it, if I'm being honest. So it's one of those ones where I want you to decide for yourself on this. Now, it gets a bit weirder, okay? Gets a bit weirder, mate, right? Jungle Book Storybook, published in May 1st, 2007. Best pasta, best of pizza. What's going on? Pizza logos? I wonder what pizza logos have to do with any of this. You can find out later on Telegram once we're finished this mainstream. But you can see here, this to me is a lot clearer of a, hiya, what's happening? And something like this, okay, you can write off as a third-party design flaw. This, you not so much. So arguably, would you need to hide the symbols more when you have to take responsibility for their installation? Whereas when it's something like a CD that's being distributed and you're not printing in-house, it's a lot easier to just blame things away. Okay, let's continue. Dora. So when we zoom in on the Dora Explorer logo, it's nothing but boy lover symbols. Like, it's nothing but boy lover symbols. Now, again, I'm just throwing this out there because I think it's important that companies understand it's probably not a good idea to use direct copies of a symbol from an FBI issued PDF on pedophile symbology when what you're doing is developing a logo for a children's film. I just want to put that out there as a human of the world, that probably a good idea if you're doing design for kids to not include the pedophile symbology. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Also, what? What are you doing, Mickey? What's going on here? Honestly, Mickey. Not cool. Now, when we start looking back, the first one, the biggie, okay, was, I can't remember what these guys were called. What was the name of this movie? What was the name? It was some, what was it? Is this the one with Fievel in it? Fievel! And this wasn't animated. This was an actual still image of a pinup girl that the animators deliberately put into this movie because they thought it was funny. All right? Naked, topless woman from the 60s. Not cool. Not cool. I don't know if any of you have heard of this, but this is the golden penis that was in the original Little Mermaid castle. There was thousands and thousands and thousands of copies of the VHS that went out to the public with this wonderful phallic-shaped section of the castle. So Disney, is it just a design thing? Well, Disney, sadly, top Disney executive arrested for what? What is that? What is that? No way. Days after police busted a massive pedophile ring at Disney World, a senior executive at Disney has been charged with 3 felony counts of child sex abuse. Again, if you're watching this back, you can read this whole story on the resources page for this. It's just unbelievable. So here we are, a Disney executive charged with operating a pedophile ring. Oh, whoa. Former Walt Disney vice president sentenced to prison. Hang on a second. Former Walt Disney VP sentenced to prison in child sex abuse investigation. That was 2 years ago, mate. Oh, well, okay, so 81 months in prison for 4 counts of first-degree sexual abuse involving a 7-year-old. Hang on a second. Okay, 81 months divided by 12. 6 years. Not even as old as the child he abused. 6 years. He'll be out in 3. He's probably out now. What? Nailed it. Okay. You know, I'm not going to have a discussion about what I'm about to say here, but I'm pretty sure the guy from the Tiger King, right, is serving like 40 years or something mad. Do we have to talk about Wilfred Wong? Like, mad. Okay, but like, let's see what else we got. Oh, 29 hidden secrets in Disney films. So you'll see a lot of people talking about the word sex. Oh no, it's the sex scene. Here we go. This sex written in animations. You can see it here. The S, the E, the X. Now, there is an argument made by animators in their own little culture and their own little communities that this actually says SFX, which is like a little nod of the hat to hiding SFX in their animations. Personally, no, that's not an F. That's clearly an E. So there's a lot of it. Disney has a lot of very strange things that pop up. They're not necessarily all the symbols that we've been looking at, but oh man, I had it real bad for Jessica when I was a little. When this movie came out, yes. But yeah, since then, her scene where she flashes the world, her private parts, has been covered up. Oh wow, it's a hooker. I never thought about that. Wow. So again, not necessarily all of the symbols that we're looking at appear, but we have these subtle references. We have these throwbacks to pin-up girls. We have words that are formed throughout Disney. In the air, there was one that was in Frozen. There was one in Tangled. There was one in The Lion King, like you've seen. But let's go back a little further. Let's go back to simpler times of renting VHSs. Flight of the Navigator. Do you remember the movie Flight of the Navigator? Do you remember that wee thing? The wee meow, 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 meow? That thing was cute, man. I loved that movie. The Flight of the Navigator was a good, wholesome chunk of the 80s. Until you look back at it now, and then you look at those steps, and you're like, brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Great. Great. Why though? Why though? Why though? 1986, baby. 1986. Unreal. Unreal. It's a direct copy. It's a direct copy. It's nuts. It's absolutely, completely bonkers. What's happening, Dappy? Good to see you, bro. What's happening, Asher? So again, subtle symbols thrown in our kids' faces, thrown in our faces. And from places that should be at the top of the pile when it comes to keeping kids safe, when it comes to informing parents. There shouldn't ever be, there should be a massive post-it note up in the Disney head office, right? In the office that approves design and approves all of the characters, that just has all the pedo symbols on it, right? That just says, do not approve. Like, would that not make more sense? It just, it seems to me that that should be the way. Like, surely. So if they're that laid back about it, are we going to sit here and just assume coincidence after coincidence? This has been going on since the Flight of the Navigator. And before then, I mean, let's be honest. All right, so symbology again. Now we're moving into sweet treats, okay? And this is something that when I seen it, I was like, that is awfully similar. Like, this Lady Gaga Oreo cookie scenario is a bit mad. And when we delve into the pizza side of things, I'll explain a little bit better why it's so triggering that this symbol would be associated with a Lady Gaga promotional anything. And you can see here, we're going back to the official government documents, we're referencing this toy, and here we are. And for me, you can see here and here. Why would anyone let that go out, right? Especially if you're part of Lady Gaga's design brand PR team. They've got Google. They can Google Lady Gaga's name and throw the P word in, okay? And some mad things come up, okay? So again, Lady Gaga, can we please get a big post-it note up in your development team's office that says, no predator pedophile symbology on my stuff, please? Is that all right? Can we maybe just email Lady Gaga's team? Maybe nobody's brought it to light for them. You know? I'm going to leave that one up to your guys to make your mind up about what you see here. But maybe wait to make your mind up until we finish the after chat. Now, one conspiracy theory algorithm that we're going to talk about is Donut Gate. All right? Yeah. Not the gate you think. Donut Gate. And this is Voodoo Donuts, and they got sucked into a whole bunch of online madness, brought on by themselves, if I'm being honest. Like, for a start, good things come in pink boxes. Okay, that's kind of funny. But is it kind of funny when the company also has like a revamped donut truck that they market as children's birthday party catering. I don't know. I just think there's something wrong there. I think there's something wrong there, right? It would be, to me, right? It's like if Anne Summers or Victoria's Secrets also did kids' parties. If it's an adult-themed product or company, I get really weirded out when they start trying to involve themselves in kids' parties and all of that. They sold some very weird merch and had some very weird advertising, okay? Like it got real weird. I mean, you can see the baby in the box down here. That's, you know, who approved that for their social media? So we're going to just take a look at their logo and their signature donut. All right, you're not helping yourself. Also, is anybody else getting really racist vibes off this donut? Like, I'm not being funny, but that's racist as fuck. Oh, that's racist. I mean, but the symbol, right? I mean, you know where we're going with this, right? Like what? What? I swear it looks like they have just copied. I mean, again, it is just a swirl. I get that. But it is literally in the same color and the same design. Okay? There's a lot of suspicious social media stuff okay, yeah. Really helping yourself with that one, mate. Really helping it. You know, I mean, what is this? Is limited edition super pedo donut? Like what we looking at here? Also, who packs donuts like that? Like, that is really triggering. Like, they are going to get sticky in that box. Okay, I found this interview highly informative. Satanic ritual abuse survivor blows whistle on child trafficking voodoo donuts. There's a little link there. Feel free to go and investigate. This is a pedo ring and child trafficking. These people are sick. Open your eyes. Great things come in pink boxes equals vagina. Look at the names of the donuts. Look at what they sell. They traffic children. Call your sheriff. These are reviews that I'm reading, just in case you're watching back without visuals right now. Again, all resources can be found at projectrook.com. Now, here's their voodoo donut van for your next party. Birthday parties, corporate events. So maybe they weren't directly marketing it as kids' birthday parties, but that was an option. They also sold some very, very sassy merch, shall we say. Good things come in pink boxes, ladies' undergarments, shall we say. But also onesies for the toddlers and some t-shirts and jumpers for the little ones, you know. Something for everyone at Voodoo Donuts. Now, the next image I'm going to show you, this is the sort of thing that you can print out yourself, stick up in your local area, take a picture of it and be like, people are putting these around my area. So I'm just showing you this. But I just want to sort of reinforce your brain that this doesn't mean a lot. But again, it's very interesting when you have survivor stories. It's very interesting when you have cases that seem to have just something more than some hearsay. They have a little bit of tangible connection to events that have taken place. Whether or not we'll ever get to the bottom of any of it, who knows? I definitely think that is wild. Wild. And yeah, Voodoo Donuts needs to have a serious word with themselves about their entire brand. So, yeah. Symbology, pedophile symbols, what symbols mean, how they unify a group, how they give a group their legitimacy, and how people rally behind a symbol. You just got to look at, again, go back to religion, and we look at religious symbols and icons and how people are given hope and unified around them. And when we have groups of individuals that prey on children, and we have groups that promote, abusive contact with children, we need to break down the use of these symbols. And we shouldn't be having to worry about the biggest children's entertainment company in the world repeatedly slipping these symbols into everything. Okay? If I can just remind you one more time, this is what Disney made. Okay? This is what Disney made. They made this. They put it on their website. Okay? They also made this. Okay? And this. It's mad. When we think about the world we live in now, there is a group of parents, right? Some of them are just lazy. Some of them are working freaking 4 or 5 jobs. But the screens, tablets, have become a form of pacifier for children, for toddlers, hell, for teenagers, for 20-year-olds. And we put our faith in companies because I think it's easier for us to pass the responsibility over to someone that we feel has a lot to lose by not protecting our children. A company like Disney, company like YouTube or Facebook. But when we see the things that come out in the news, when whistleblowers step forward, that completely contradicts the public statements by these companies, there's never any actual evidence delivered in their responses. I always find that for some reason, we have to bring forth so much evidence to prove the evil in the world. But the evildoers just have to stand there and explain it away without anything tangible to back up what they're saying. It's sad, and it's something that we can all, through social media, through the internet, through this unification that we have, report and out, and just make sure that when you see these symbols that you approach the situation from a rational point of view. Are you looking at a predator symbol, or is your brain telling you that you're seeing something that is just a little bit like it? Be aware. Look for repeat offenders. Okay? Repeat offenders, okay, are a lot harder for them to explain things away. Disney, oh man, I could sit here for hours, okay, just talking about Disney. It's mad. So be very vigilant, be very aware. Don't just assume that a company has your children's best interests at heart, or has your best interests at heart, or gives a rat's ass about anything that you care about. Because the fact of the matter is, history has proven that this repeating cycle of normalization is ever growing. And ever since a certain country had an election, things have gotten pretty bad. We're in the era of the kiddie sniffer, okay? And since the kiddie sniffer era began, that individual, his group, his political group, shall we say, have systematically stripped away people's voices globally through restricting what people can do and say within social media with regarding to outing. What do we refer to them as? Oh yeah, the 1%. I mean, I wouldn't say anything bad against the royal family. I definitely wouldn't say anything terrible about the royals. Some might. I'm not going to say anything. Join us on Telegram. But it's mad. It's sad and it's mad. But listen, there is a little treat, okay? Every week, you're going to get a little treat. Where's the button? There it is. That's not the right button. Ah, there's that. This one. So we're going to have the after chat when this mainstream ends. Make sure you come and join us. The button's right here. But if you keep going, I will post a documentary that I find online that is free for you guys to watch, so that if you want to continue entertaining yourself or upsetting yourself, whichever one applies most, this is a really interesting documentary called The Pedophile Next Door, which raises the question of what the hell are we going to do about the pedophiles? And it's a very, 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 very interesting documentary because it was made in the 90s, and the guy making this is freaking out about the epidemic, right? The epidemic of pedophiles like 30 years ago. They talk a lot about Pi and the work that Pi did. He even interviews a guy who is coming out as a pedophile and the help that he wants to try and get and all the rest of it. It's very interesting. So I suggest you guys watch that too. There's also some more little cheeky resources here. Pedophile secret code, some more WikiLeaks, and parents warned over innocent looking symbols once again. Also, if you want to support the channel, well, it's not really a channel, support the website, Patreon, PayPal, Cash App, all listed at the bottom of the pages. All of your help is greatly, greatly appreciated. And this week there's going to be a Patreon update. I've just not managed to get there yet. But please, 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 please make sure that you leave a like. Make sure you come and join the Telegram group. It's coming up for 10:30. I think we've smashed the timing on this perfectly. So at about 11:15, which is in 20 minutes, I'll be starting the after chat. Please come and join us. Please, please, please follow Rook on Instagram. There's no content, but please follow me. That would be super awesome. All the links again are in the link tree. If you go to projectrook.com, go down at the bottom, you'll find a little link, a little tree, a little hidden tree down here. Just click on that and you'll get all the links that you need. We're on Rumble now. We're slowly getting content added to Rumble, and we're still on BitChute. The Phil Chalmers channel is about to pop off again in a big way, so if you want to get caught up on some wonderful Ron and Phil content, simply go to the Serial Sundays page and you will get season 1 and season 2 conveniently loaded into here for you to enjoy. And for those of you who know about the documentary project that I'm working on, which is I Wish, that is going to be hopefully tomorrow. Everything should, maybe Saturday, everything should be live. The trailer should be live and all the rest of it. So I hope I can count your support for that. It is some serious deep stuff. Internet horrors starting very soon, and of course next week on PG we have episode 2, Thursday 9 o'clock, and we've just looked at symbols or symbology, and we're moving on to terminology. Okay, and terminology is very important because, as you're going to learn, there was an email situation a few years ago that resulted in pizza restaurants becoming incredibly famous. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about the pizza symbology issues that surround this entire subject, come and join us on Telegram, because that's where we're going to be speaking about the stuff that, you know, Facebook just doesn't like it. And that's okay. That's all right. I wouldn't like people talking like this about my mates either. Zuckerberg. All right. So listen, link to After Chat in your link tree. I can, is it? I don't know if it is. Hang on a second. I'll put it in now though. I'll put the link in here. There you go. If you just click on this, that should work, I think. Yeah, it works. Yeah, that should work. Just click on that, mate. Right, okay. Thank you everyone for joining me for our first proper podcast on Facebook. We're learning how to get, you know, this whole Facebook, how it operates. Please, 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 please help me push the word out for this. If you know any Reddit pages, any Facebook communities, any Facebook power mums, any influencers, anyone at all that can help us grow our little parental guidance podcast, community network, and all the rest, I would love to hear it. There's going to be some interviews that I'm lining up as well that will kind of expand on the content that we're going to be delivering. Next week, 9 o'clock on Thursday, we're going to be going into the terminology predators and pedophiles use, and I hope you'll come and join me. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your support. If you can, please support me on Patreon, and I will see you guys in the after chat in about 15 minutes on Telegram. Thank you all, and I'll see you in the next one.